In this episode, we'll be talking about 5 fearsome critters, so stick around. Hello Monster Hunters and welcome to the Monster Preservation and Research Society. My name is Rob and in this episode things are going to be a little bit different. As you can see, we are not in the library as usual. We are out in the middle of the woods. Take it all in. It's serene, it's peaceful, and it can be a scary place. One of the things that will be different in this episode is, instead of talking about 2 different creatures, usually one a cryptid and one from pop culture, we're going to be talking about 5 that fit into a classification called Fearsome Critters. Fearsome Critters were tall tales. They're animals or creatures that spread across America. They could be found in the pines of New Jersey, to the swamps of Louisiana, to the redwoods of the Pacific Northwest, to the deserts of the Southwest. They were everywhere. The tales of these monsters spread across America on the lips of frontiersmen, lumberjacks, settlers, and they range from the humorous to the horrific. These tales were either used for explaining the unexplainable, to provide entertainment around the campfire, or to have a cautionary tale about the wilds of America that people weren't used to. The one thing that stands out about these monsters are that there's not a lot of eyewitness accounts. Most of these creatures are simply a name and a brief description. As with most tall tales, the stories would change from the person that was telling them. Now, these entries for this evening are the most purest of the stories that I could find, because you could tell as travelers went on, some of these creatures would get bigger and badder, scarier, more humorous as they traveled across America, upping their story from time to time just to keep things a little bit more interesting. With that being said, this will be a little bit different than the rest also because there are no real stories to tell. We will be discussing these creatures, their names, their descriptions, and you will have to help them find a home within your imagination. The first monster we'll talk about does have a story, and it's one that actually I hold close to my heart, because it's a creature that my grandfather would mention from time to time. Growing up in central Maryland, I would often hear tales of the Snallygaster from my grandfather and other members of our family. So, without further ado, let's start with the Snallygaster. The Snallygaster is a dragon-like beast said to inhabit central Maryland, the Washington, D.C. metro area, and particularly Frederick County. The area was settled by German immigrants beginning in the 1730s, and the monster's first sighting happened in 1735. The community was beginning to be terrorized by a creature they called the Snallygaster, or quick ghost. Its earliest description mixed the features of a bird with that of a demon. The Snallygaster was said to be half reptilian and half bird, with a metallic beak lined with razor-sharp teeth. Occasionally, it was also described as having tentacles as well. It would swoop silently from the sky to pick up and carry off its victims and leave a foul odor in its wake. 7-pointed stars were said to keep the monster at bay, and some are still seen today painted on the sides of local barns. In 1909, local residents started reporting sightings of a beast with enormous wings, a long pointed bill, hook-like claws, and an eye in the center of its forehead. It was described as making screeches like a locomotive's whistle. A great deal of publicity surrounded the string of appearances, with the Smithsonian Institute offering a reward for its hide or carcass. President Theodore Roosevelt reportedly considered postponing an African safari so he could personally hunt the beast. Over the years, there have been several sightings of a creature soaring above the spires of many small towns across central Maryland, but no one has ever gotten a good look at whatever it was. Now we travel from the farmlands of Maryland to the deep dark forests of the north. Lumberjacks would tell stories of a man-eating feline that would descend from the treetops to make them their prey. The silver cat is a predatory cat that stalks the deep, dark forests of the north. Like the name suggests, the silver cat has a silver coat of fur. The eyes of this beast are red and have horizontal slits instead of vertical. The ears are tasseled, but it's its tail that gives the silver cat its distinct appearance. The size of the silver cat seems to vary. Some say it's the size of a lynx, while others say that the beast can weigh over 300 pounds. The silver cat is equipped with a long, lethal tail. At its very tip of the cat's 11-foot-long tail lies a large, hard knob. One side of the knob is smooth, while the other is spiked. The hunting method of the silver cat is to hang from the branches of trees, upside down. From there it waits until a victim, occasionally human, passes by. Then it hits them with the smooth side of the knob, knocking them out. It then embeds the spiked side of the tail into its prey and pulls it up into the branches, where it feasts on their body. Silver cats are excellent climbers and tend to spend most of their lives in the trees. Their lairs are said to exist in the highest boughs of the forest. Their tails also serve another purpose. During mating season, the male silver cat will take the smooth side of its tail and bang it on its chest like a drum in order to attract a mate. Not all the creatures that haunt logging camps are man-eaters. Some of them just want to be left alone. The Gumboro is a nearly hairless brute from the Pacific coast. The Gumboro was described by early lumberjacks to be larger than a bear, and is completely hairless except for a bushy beard and thick eyebrows. The creature's hide is smooth, black, and rubbery. The creature's hide is so rubbery, in fact, that it can bounce back anything thrown at it. Bullets and arrows will rebound in the direction that they were fired, killing the one who fired the shot. They are reported to be spread all along the coast, from Washington State right down to California, and make their lairs in the hollowed-out remnants of cedar trees. In a permanent state of hunger, the Gumboro, nonetheless, only ventures from its nest infrequently to forage for food. Although, when it does, it is capable of eating enormous amounts in a single sitting. Said to be able to devour a whole horse at a time, this distends the creature's stomach massively, although it causes a Gumboro no discomfort. It was reported that during a forest fire, a Gumboro was caught in the flames. The creature exploded, and the smell of burning rubber filled the air. There's another creature that frontiersmen and lumberjacks came across that was known for its rubbery defensive mechanism. Rubberado are strange creatures that roamed the forest of Wisconsin and Minnesota during the 19th and early 20th centuries. Upon initial examination, you may think this creature is a porcupine, due to it being of similar size and appearance. However, the Rubberado's skin and quills are made entirely of a rubber-like substance. When provoked, the Rubberado will inflate like a balloon and bounce away on the tips of its inflated quills. It's been reported that while it bounced away, it would let out a childish laugh with each bounce. The Rubberado is amazing for its ability to evade capture. While the rubbery skin may not look like much, it is bulletproof. Rubberados are mostly timid creatures and tend to shy away from humans. For those that do try to hunt the Rubberado, their efforts are fruitless, as the Rubberado meat becomes inedible the moment it is cooked. Now the last monster this evening is another man-eater, and it serves as a cautionary tale that some things are not what they seem. Sometimes misidentified as simple owl pellets left behind by owls. Some of those pellets are actually something much more sinister. They are the wadded-up clumps of clothing, the only remains of unfortunate lumberjacks who approach the TherumptoFizzle. Another denizen of the dark forests of Wisconsin and Minnesota, the TherumptoFizzle is a big, vicious animal covered in a fine pelt of lush fur, not unlike a mink. They are flat and very flexible and not too fast, most of the time. Much like the anglerfish and the alligator snapping turtle, the TherumptoFizzle lures prey within reach by appealing to greed. A TherumptoFizzle catches its prey by draping its thin body over a stump or log in plain sight, looking for all the world like an abandoned, expensive fur coat. When someone's greed gets the better of them and approaches for a better look, the TherumptoFizzle, moving with a deceptive burst of speed, engulfs its victim. The underside of the critter is lined with tiny sucking pores, and its prey's meat is thoroughly drained off its bones. We have come to the end of our monstrous journey for this evening. These were just 5 fearsome critters that haunted and hunted the frontiersmen, lumberjacks, and farmers of America. There are dozens more fearsome critters. Some were just pranksters that meant no harm other than a good laugh, while others called the deep dark shadows home and were ready to prey on any unsuspecting victim. So until next time, thank you so much for watching the Monster Preservation and Research Society. My name is Rob, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you have something to say, I love reading them, and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this, or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down below, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. So until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.